All right. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm just clipping myself in. Um, Thank you for staying, and thanks for, Carolyn, for giving a prize for listening to us. We appreciate it. I'm Joanna Goldfarb. I'm the Sustainability Innovation Consultant at the Ramapo Catskill Library System.
And I'm Meaghan Doyle. I'm the Community and Digital Equity Consultant at Ramapo Catskill Library System.
And we're going to talk to you about how and why we decided to take 50 million steps this year.
So we just wanted to start with a little background on Ramapo Catskill Library System. We are a state public library system. And what that means is we're really an office setting. We work with the public libraries, but we're not in the libraries. We're in an office. There are 29 employees. And our building is located on kind of a main road in a suburban area. So it's not real easy to get out and just go walk around. But at the same time, we have neighborhoods nearby. So you can go out and walk. It's just kind of a balance.
So earlier at the beginning of the day, Claudia mentioned that there were a lot of members of the Sustainable Libraries Initiative. Oh yes, we'll be taking steps throughout this presentation.
We do this when we stand still and we
Yes.
have meetings.
Claudia mentioned that there are 3 library systems that are certified as sustainable, and RCLS is one of them. We earned our certification in October, and a portion of that certification process is a staff wellness program. So yes, we were certified in October, and this challenge started in January, but that is because just because we are certified doesn't mean we're done. This is an ongoing process. Sustainability is forever. So this is part of our continuation of our sustainability commitment. I do have to give a shout out to SUPLA, the Sullivan Public Library Alliance. Sullivan County is one of the counties in our service area. We were inspired by them. They partnered with an organization in Sullivan County called Sullivan 180 that is dedicated to improving the health of Sullivan County. And they did a month-long step challenge, and it was a competition between all of the libraries in Sullivan County, and they were documenting this challenge on social media. And we saw that and thought, that looks really fun.
The thing is they made it a competition, and we were kind of like, we could compete, but we didn't really want to compete. We wanted to cooperate. So we were like, how do we do this though? And we decided, well, if we're all working towards a common goal, then we're all kind of competing with each other, not competing with each other, but competing with each other against a goal. So that was where we decided. The other reason that we really wanted to explore this is because a lot of us, as I said, it's an office setting, but we came from the library world and we did a lot of steps. We were always on our feet, walking around, helping people, all these things. And, about 2 years ago, I left that and I came over to RCLS. And yes, this is my office space. It is an actual photo, not stock footage. And I spent a lot of time there. I took this picture actually during a meeting, so you can see the Zoom screen is sitting there. Because, this is my life now. I sit and I do meetings, and it's not good for me.
So we started by saying we're taking 50 million steps, but how did we get there? So Meaghan is going to go into the math, but I'm going to talk just a little bit about our methodology. So we knew pretty early on that we didn't want to say just 10,000 steps a day. A few reasons for that. I have a background as a runner, so I have a little bit of knowledge on what happens when you do too much too soon, and it's not good. So we decided off the bat that we want to start with lower step goals for each day, and then each month increase a little bit. So that way it would be a little bit safer, reduce the risk of injury. We also thought that this would make it more manageable for people who are not used to doing X amount of steps a day to say, all right, you know what? we started out with 4,800 steps a day. I might not do 4,800 steps every day, but I don't do that much less. So yeah, I could do 4,800 steps. And then the next month it's only 5,800 steps. I'm used to doing 4,800. I can get an extra 1,000 steps a day. So we wanted to make this a challenge, but still achievable.
So where did that 50 million come from? We kind of based it on a bunch of factors, including, well, how many participants? As I said before, we have 29 employees, but not everybody's going to do it. So how many people can we count on? How many steps per day is reasonable, which Joanna was just talking about? And then what is our timeline? Like how soon do we want to reach this goal? If we do it for a whole year, like that's got to be a pretty high number. So we had a napkin and we started jotting things down. And we were like, okay, well, what if, and we did a bunch of math and we came up with this. You can see it on the napkin there, that 40 million number. And we were like, well, that's low. Let's stretch. Let's hit 50 million. We have no idea if we're going to make it, but this is what we're going for.
It's also really difficult to say we want to take 40,560,000 steps a year. It's much easier to say we want to take 50 million.
Yeah. So another thing we did was we actually put out a survey to all of our coworkers and to assess interest. We were like, who wants to do this with us? Because again, with that goal, like we're not going to make it if there's only the 2 of us. But if there's 29 of us, maybe we need to raise the goal. And we ended up having 14 people who committed to doing it. And so far, so good. They are all still on track. We made it completely voluntary. It's not fun if you feel like you have to do it, right? Just in case anybody didn't have access to a smartphone or a smartwatch, which most of us do, but not everybody, we did purchase pedometers. So anybody who wanted to participate, it was easy for them to do so. We didn't want any barriers to anybody participating who was interested.
So how does this actually work? How do we track everyone's steps? So we decided we would utilize a LibGuide to house all of the information. So the homepage of that LibGuide has what the step challenge is. It has that month's daily step goals. It has a kind of progress thermometer to show where we are, along with a link to a bean stack. I will get to bean stack in case someone hasn't heard of it. So the bean stack is where we track our steps. So every day or every week, people will go in and write down how many steps that they did that day. Our colleague Michelle Muller is a Beanstack queen, so she is the one who set that up. She's at YSS right now. So Meaghan will export all of the data from Beanstack and crunch all the numbers and make a bunch of charts that you'll see later. I send out, I try not to send a lot of emails, probably 2 per month, one towards the middle of the month that says, don't forget to enter your steps, one towards the end of the month that says this is how many steps we've taken, and we will both update that LibGuide as needed. So as promised, what is Beanstack? It is actually a reading challenge platform that libraries will use a lot for summer reading, but it is a year-round kind of product. It is a way for people to earn badges for achieving reading goals. And also participating in other challenges, but we decided we could jerry-rig this and make it for step goals. So this is basically what it looks like once someone fills out all of their steps for the week. It goes from gray to green. So this week, the 10th week, March 3rd through 9th, I filled in all my steps, so I got a little green check mark. And this on the right-hand side is what it looks like. So it really just asks, how many steps did you take on Monday? And you type in the number of steps. Michelle was also great in adding how many steps total for each week. So for week 10, we had to walk a total of 47,000 steps during the week. And sometimes she'll also add a few other fun things, like if there's a holiday that week, she'll put that in there. She really went all out.
You want to talk about that?
Okay, yes, this is our LibGuide. It's amazing. If you have not watched Prancercise, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So I mentioned that our home screen is kind of the practical things. So the link to get to that Beanstack, how the daily step goals, but we wanted to make it a little bit more fun. So we have, this is our motivation page. So yes, there's Prancercise. Yes, there's the Ministry of Silly Walks. But we also wanted a few practical tips. So like Meaghan said, we've all kind of gotten used to just sitting at our desks. So what can we do to integrate just a few more steps into our day here and there, like marching in place while giving presentations. I decided I wanted to put silly polls up. So I found out that April is National Fresh Celery Month. So I made a poll about Fresh Celery Month. Just little things like this to kind of make it more of a walking, stepping community.
So this is one of the charts. As Joanna mentioned, in Beanstack, people put in how many steps they've done for each day, and that generates a spreadsheet that I can export, and it has all of those numbers in it for every day for the last, right now we're up to 3 full months. And so this particular chart is showing the weekly average of steps per person. So it shows the last 13 weeks, and then each line is a person who's participating, and their average is charted. So you can see we do have a super duper overachiever at the top there who is over 20,000 steps every day without fail. She actually does 20,000 of those before she even gets to work in the morning. And then we have, I heard her name. Somebody out there is right. So it's all good. And then we have a bunch of people in the middle, a lot of up and down, some people who are pretty steady, and some people who are a little bit lower, but they're working on it, and they're participating, and every step they take helps us get to that goal. So, we're okay with it. But it's nice for them to be able to see not how they compare, because we're not competing, which is why there's no names on here. I cut that out before I post it, just so that everybody can kind of see the aggregate. But also just to kind of have an idea of like, oh, maybe I want to try and work a little harder, or, oh, I'm doing so great, like I'm really helping the team. And then this chart is the one, will we make it? And so the blue line actually represents the actual data up until week 13 there. And then it's flat because we haven't added to those weeks yet. But then I put the 50,000 in for the end of the year, and that's a big difference. So the red line represents if we're on the same track, if we just stay linearly at the number of steps we're doing now and add the same number each week, that's where we're going to get. And it hits about 40,000, which is what we expected when we did our math. So the purple line is if we're going to hit 50, we need to step it up. But our goals step up. Oh, didn't even do that on purpose. Our goals increase each month. So hopefully that line, our red line, will turn into a little bit more exponential, and hopefully we'll get to hit that 50.
So as of April 1st, as a staff, we have taken 10,640,955 steps. So we are about 21% to our goal. And with that,
plus 1,764.
Plus 1,400. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Is there points for finding the orange cat in every slide?
What orange cat?
Never seen them.
No.
Gaslight.
Yeah. Alyssa.
So this is internal staff, RCLS staff only. Yeah. So
No, like we mean like office, HQ staff.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not the system, it's just us.
So it's something we've talked about, and so this came about because we had talked about doing it system-wide, but then we decided to do the road trip again, and doing a step challenge system-wide and the road trip it's a bit much. But then Meaghan said, why don't we just do it here? Yeah, we could just do it here. So yeah, we're testing it out, see how it goes, and maybe system-wide. But yeah,
Stay tuned.
Beta testing now.
Also, road trip, surprise. Just saying. Anything else? Yeah.
you like, they have smartwatches or whatever to track steps. But I had one of those old pedometers years ago, and it was like, wouldn't like count my steps unless I like tied it to my sneaker or something. Do you find the ones you have like work okay with a non-electronic pedometer,
So I mean, I use a smartwatch. The feedback from the people who are using the pedometer, we have one of them here, if she wants to jump in, is if you are walking, it seems like having it on the hip is working. If you're, I guess, a gentle walker, a glider perhaps, it might not count the steps as accurately. Mhm.
Which is why we march
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
Anyone else?
Anything else?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.